Redmi is looking to shake up the under 10,000 rupee segment with the launch of their first Prime phone in years. This is the Redmi 9 Prime and today I'm going to unbox it. Hey guys, Omoto here from C4eTech, and if you do end up finding this video useful, then please consider subscribing and turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's now get started. We have the regular Xiaomi packaging with the name and picture of the phone on front. We have the orange logo to the top right, and to the left we have the Made in India and India's #1 smartphone brand badge. Looks like Redmi is really trying to pitch this one as an Indian instead of a Chinese device. What do you guys think? Anyway, moving on, we have some of the spec highlights on the back of the box along with yet another Made in India logo. Seems like we have the 128GB variant of the Redmi 9 Prime in the sunrise flare color. To the sides we have some more branding, while the bottom of the box houses some more info. Enough looking around the box though, let's slice through those seals and open it up. Inside we have the usual cardboard insert, contains the SIM ejector pin as well as the user guide. Redmi has also included a soft case in here. Keeping them aside, let's focus on the star of the show, the Redmi 9 Prime. Taking it out of the plastic cover, peeling off the sticker as well. This is the Redmi 9 Prime. Oh, and that's interesting. We have the gradient back, but instead of the regular glossy finish, this one has a texture to it. I don't know if the camera can pick this one up or not, but in hand it's very noticeable, quite grippy. Anyway, we'll return to the Redmi 9 Prime and its Aura 360 design in a bit. For now, let's see what else we got here. There's a tiny charging brick that's rated at 10 watts, and we also have a Type-C cable. That's it for the box contents, so let's now get back to the Redmi 9 Prime. Design-wise, the Redmi 9 Prime seems to borrow more from the Poco X2 than any Redmi phone really. We have the concentric camera ring. Personally, I've never been a big fan of it. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments. At a glance, this might seem like a triple camera setup to the back here. Here they are, all three, followed by the fingerprint sensor that's integrated into the camera bump. Reminds me of the Redmi 8. But there's actually a fourth sensor here. It's been integrated into the flash module. As for the rest of the back, we have those concentric circles radiating out. I'm guessing that's what Redmi means by the Aura 360 design. Now, this textured back has two benefits. Number one, it doesn't pick up fingerprints and smudges that easily. And number two, it's quite grippy, which makes for a secure in-hand feel. Good thing too, since at just under 200 grams, the Redmi 9 Prime feels quite heavy, despite the all-plastic construction. And at over 9mm, this isn't a thin device either. All of that's understandable though, since Redmi had to fit in a 50-20 mAh battery inside the 9 Prime. Taking a look at the rest of the device, we have the power and volume buttons on the right edge. The top holds the secondary mic and IR blaster. Nice to see Redmi still including it. To the left, we have the dual SIM plus dedicated microSD card slot, and finally the bottom houses the headphone jack, primary mic, Type-C port and the speaker. Now while the rest of the phone has got a design refresh, the front is where the biggest upgrade takes place. Not only do we have a bigger 6.53-inch screen, this IPS panel is also Full HD+, so a pretty significant jump up from the Redmi 8 series. Like the Redmi 8s, we do have a water drop notch up top. That's where the 8MP selfie camera resides. On paper, this seems very similar to the selfie snapper that we had in the previous generation Redmi devices. So good details with natural skin tones. Coming back to the display, the higher resolution means sharper text and images. On top of that, this IPS panel sports vibrant colors and excellent viewing angles. There's even support for Widevine L1. If it kind of feels like I'm gushing over what is pretty much a run-of-the-mill 1080p panel, well, that's because we don't generally see anything above HD+ displays in this range. Another thing that we don't generally see in this price bracket, a processor that's as powerful as the Helio G80. So just for context guys, we have the Helio G70 inside the Realme Narzo 10A, while the Redmi Note 9 sports the Helio G85. The Redmi 9 Prime should slot right in between these two in terms of performance. Quite a big performance bump, especially when compared to the Snapdragon 439 from the previous generation Redmi 8s. On the memory front, the Redmi 9 Prime comes with 4GB of RAM and either 64 or 128GB of internal storage. Of course, you can always expand the storage later thanks to the dedicated microSD card slot. And as far as gaming is concerned, the Mali G52 MC2 GPU in here should be able to handle most games. So we have a bigger, higher resolution screen that's being paired with a more powerful processor, which means that battery life on the Redmi 9 Prime might take a hit, especially when compared to the Redmi 8. That's because while the display and SoC has seen huge upgrades, the battery capacity has barely increased. We have a 5020 mAh unit in here, a mere 20 mAh more than the 5000 mAh battery inside the Redmi 8. Not only has Redmi not increased the battery capacity here, they've also bundled in the same 10-watt charger in the box despite the phone supporting 18-watt fast charging. This is pretty much the same as what they did last year. So if you'd wanna take advantage of fast charge on your Redmi 9 Prime, you'd have to spend an extra 450 rupees buying this from the Mi store. Speaking of things that haven't changed, we have the same old MIUI 11 on board the Redmi 9 Prime, so features like Game Turbo, Dark Mode and Gesture Navigation work just fine. But I know what most of you guys wanna know. Are there any banned apps pre-installed on the device? Well, while we didn't find any of the banned third-party apps pre-installed on our phone, our review unit did come with the Mi browser on board. If you guys aren't aware, Mi browser is on the banned list of apps by the Indian government, so I was personally quite surprised to see it on here, especially after the latest statement by Redmi CEO Manu Kumar Jain. Anyway, moving on from privacy to biometric security, the fingerprint scanner as well as the face unlock both work well on the Redmi 9 Prime. Which then brings us to the optics, starting with the primary 13 megapixel sensor. This one comes with an f2.2 lens. Specs wise, it's quite similar to the one on the Redmi 8A Dual. It was a cloudy evening in Chennai when we took these photos, but the Redmi 9 Prime came out with some crisp looking shots. Looking at these snaps, if you find that the colors aren't vibrant enough, then Xiaomi has also included a pro color mode here. What's more interesting is the next two cameras. We have an 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor here coupled with a 5 megapixel macro. Now, we generally see one or the either in the under 10k price range, but the Redmi 9 Prime has them both, along with a 2 megapixel depth sensor, giving it one of the most complete camera setups in the under 10,000 rupee price range. Yes, the Redmi 9 Prime starts at 9,999 rupees for the base 464GB variant. Paying 2,000 rupees more gives us double the internal storage. So what do you guys think of the Redmi 9 Prime? Would you pick it over something like the Realme Narzo 10A? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, we come to the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching till the end, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.